In the first 3 parts of our series, we talked about many different steps that agents can take to ensure that the person they are meeting with is safe. However, you can never be 100% sure, so following a safe showing routine is key. The optimal scenario for the initial meeting would be: go to the property and prepare the home. We will discuss the proper way to prepare a home in just a moment. Meet the prospect at a secondary location. Then have the prospect follow you to the property, where all you need to do is unlock the door properly, as the home is already prepped and ready to go. One of the things we want to address briefly is parking. Generally, it is best to park on the street and let the prospect park in the driveway so they cannot block you in. While making sure you aren't being blocked in whenever possible is a good idea, it is important to remember that it's actually not that significant. The truth is, if you are being chased, your best bet is to run down the street making as much noise as possible to draw attention and run to the nearest home or building with evidence of people on site. The reality is that in the time it takes you to unlock your car door, open it, and get in, it is extremely likely that the person chasing you has already caught up with you before you've had a chance to close and lock that car door, and that person could still have you in a situation where they could subdue and/or isolate you. While we talked about the optimal scenario, we understand that that's not the way it's usually done, so let's look at some more common scenarios. Meeting at a secondary location. This gives you a chance to reschedule if you had a bad feeling as soon as you meet someone, or to call your go-to person as you're driving, if you have one, and get them to meet you at the property. Have the prospect follow you. Do not have them ride in your car. At the property, ask the prospect to give you a few minutes to go through and make sure the home is ready. Open the lockbox properly, and then prepare the home. If you are meeting the prospect at the property, you want to arrive early so that you can prepare the home. If you can't arrive early, attempt to postpone the appointment. If that's not possible, you're going to ask the prospect to give you a few moments to go into the house to make sure everything is in order, and then open the lockbox correctly, enter the property, and quickly prepare the home. The correct way to open a lockbox is to never turn your back on your prospect. Position yourself so that you are to the side of the lockbox and can still see your prospect. Really think about your lockbox placement if you are the listing agent. Don't put lockboxes where the showing agents are going to have to go where they can't be seen from the street to access them, where they're going to have to get into an awkward position or bend all the way to the ground. This could put them in a vulnerable position if the person they are with is dangerous, but could also put them in an embarrassing or unprofessional position as well. Some agents have mobility issues and may not be able to bend down or reach around something to get to a lockbox without assistance. Once the door is unlocked, stand to the side of the door, push or pull the door open as needed, and then invite the prospect to go in ahead of you. Always have the prospect lead. Do not let them get behind you. Now let's talk about preparing the home. Turn on all the lights. Open the blinds or curtains. If it's a nice day, open a few windows. This makes you easier to hear from the street should you need assistance. Open all of the interior doors and unlock all of the exterior doors. Plot out where to stand in each room so your escape path is clear. Remove any obstructions that someone may trip over, ottomans, etc. Open up the garage door. If that's not possible, don't go into the garage with your prospect. Garages can be a particularly dangerous place because of the availability of things that can be used as weapons, and they usually have little to no windows on the outside, which makes them a prime spot for someone to get you isolated where you can't be seen or heard. Put away dangerous items, the knife block in the kitchen, for example. If there are cameras in the home, make sure to point that out to your prospect. It's polite to let them know that they are being recorded, and cameras are a fantastic deterrent for either a predator or a thief. Some agents have even begun bringing portable cameras to their appointments. Do not ever go into outbuildings with your prospect. If there are outbuildings, make sure they are unlocked before the appointment. 2 more things we want to point out here to protect your seller. Make sure all medications are put away so that drugs cannot be taken from medicine cabinets, and make sure there isn't any mail left out that could be used for identity theft. This includes cell phone bills, credit card bills, and utility bills. Now we're ready to begin our showing. Always greet your prospect outside the home or building. You can use an exterior tour to feel out the prospect, and if you feel uncomfortable, you can try to get help before you get inside. If your office has a code word or phrase, you can call the office and use the code. For example, if the office code for assistance is the red file, You can call the office and tell them that you need the red file for the property that you're at, and they will know to send someone to your location. This also lets the person that you're with know that someone is on the way. If you have a backup person, you can use a code word that you have set up to let them know you need them to come over. An example would be if you have a person that calls you about 5 minutes after your appointment starts and your code word is broccoli. When they call and ask you if you need anything, you can say, "Yes, we need to pick up some broccoli for dinner," and they would know that you would like them to come to the property without alerting the prospect that anything is wrong. When you greet your prospect, look for a vantage point that puts you slightly above them. If the property has a stoop with 1 or 2 stairs coming up, stand at the top landing. This shows authority and is unattractive to a predator who is attracted to signs of weakness and subservience. We talked about setting expectations in our initial phone call. Reiterate those before you begin your showing. For example, if there is a basement, let the prospect know that there is a basement at this location that they are more than welcome to explore, and you will be waiting at the top of the stairs to answer any questions. Once you get inside the home, you want to try to remain as visible as possible from the exterior of the building. Always let your prospect lead as you go from room to room. If you want to, explain to the prospect that you want them to be able to get the initial feel of the place without your interference or influence, so you're going to let them lead and you will answer any questions as they come up. Don't enter bedrooms if possible, remain at the doorway. Never enter a master bathroom. We will discuss this further in just a moment. Always maintain about a 6-foot distance between you and your prospect. Most attacks against agents are close-up attacks, so maintaining distance makes it harder for an attack to occur. Don't let the prospect get between you and the exit. Another reason that the no-influence sales strategy is very useful. Let them go into the rooms and stay at the doorway. This gives them the room and comfort of looking around without having someone right there, and it keeps your escape paths open. Handle stairs correctly. There is a school of thought out there that you should let the prospect get all the way to the top of the stairs before you begin your ascent, or all the way to the bottom before you begin your descent. This is incorrect. Always have the prospect go first. Once the prospect has gone 3 or 4 stairs ahead of you, begin your ascent or descent. Do not let the prospect get all the way to the top of the stairs before you begin your ascent, or all the way to the bottom of the stairs before you begin your descent. The reason is, if you do that, they can set up an ambush point at the bottom or top of the stairs because you will lose sight of your prospect. Maintain a 3 to 4 stair distance between the two of you without losing sight of your prospect. Always hold on to the handrail. This gives you support if the prospect turns and attempts to come back at you. Now let's discuss the 3 most common attack patterns used against real estate agents. The bathroom attack. This is the most common attack pattern. Never go into a bathroom with a prospect, especially a master bathroom. This is usually one of the most isolated rooms in the house, and it is almost impossible not to get close to someone in a bathroom. Stay at the doorway, and for a master bath, stay at the doorway to the bedroom. This is the bathroom attack scenario. They will ask you to come in and look at something. For example, "Can you come look at this? I think the toilet is leaking at the bottom." You go into the bathroom, which is a very enclosed space, and then lean down to look. They now have you in a very vulnerable position so that they can ambush you. What do we do instead? Instead of going into the bathroom and looking, tell them you will note the issue and contact the seller's agent so that they can have someone come out and check the situation. The next attack pattern is the hallway attack. Here is the scenario. You are walking down the hallway and the prospect slows down to look into a doorway. You continue at the same speed and now you are right next to the prospect. They can now turn and attack. Be aware of the distance between you and your prospect at all times. Should be about 6 feet between you and them. If they slow down, you slow down. The last attack pattern we're going to talk about is the look-up attack. The prospect walks into the room and looks up. You come in behind them and look up too. The prospect uses that opportunity to attack you because you are distracted looking up instead of at your prospect. Don't go into the rooms with your prospect. Stay at the doorway and let them go in and look around. You are right there to answer any questions while not putting yourself in a situation where they could put themselves between you and the exit, and also maintaining a safe distance between you and your prospect. The next section will discuss reading the prospect, looking at different parts of a person's communication, body language, verbal and paraverbal, that can be indicators of potentially escalating aggressive behavior.